Maybe you have to lower this just a little bit. Hello. Nice to see so many familiar faces here today. I'm Sandy Willius, and I've been lending for 22 years, the last 7 years with Citizens Bank. I am so excited to be proud of the team that we have at Citizens. We have 4 commercial lenders in our office, our branch manager Kyle Falk, along with Teresa Smith and John Johnson, also commercial lenders. So it's a great team. We're all on site, so that makes us a little bit unique for any of your needs or questions that you may have. Our goal is to be a resource for you and your clients for any of your commercial lending needs or questions for any of your commercial properties. We may not be the best bank or be the best financing option for your client, but our goal is to use our experience and maybe our advice to guide or be able to help you figure out the best structure for your client, whether it's with Citizens Bank or through some other avenues. Today I'm here to talk about commercial real estate loans, and when we say commercial real estate, what we really are talking about is any business purpose. Some people seem to think that commercial is just focused around an office building, and really any business use, if that's owner-occupied, non-owner-occupied, agriculture, we do a lot of that, construction, multifamily, all of that is included in that bucket. We have the availability to finance purchases with improvements, refinances, farm loans, as we've talked about, and then construction financing. Similar to the residential construction that you heard about earlier, we do vet the contractor as well as the borrower, and so we have a process for that. And depending on the how big the scope of the project is, we may or may not also require third-party monitoring, but the draw process is all handled in-house, our underwriting is in-house, all of that's handled at a local level. Wanted to talk a little bit about some differences between commercial lending and real estate. One big one that you may have come across is the loan structure. There's not a set program or flyer that I can hand out. It depends on the property type, the use, the tenant mix, the strength of the borrowers, strength of the guarantors. There's just a lot of factors that go into the specific loan structure. What I can tell you is there's not typically like a zero down program for a commercial loan. So the down payment's going to also depend on all of those items that we talked about. But a good rule of thumb is about 30% for owner-occupied, a little bit more for non-owner-occupied. But we do have access to government programs that supplement that, and if we're able to do that, or the borrower has a need for that, we work with SBA, FSA, and some other government agency programs that can lower that down payment for the borrower if they're a good fit for that. The other difference is terms. We don't have a 30-year fixed rate commercial loan. You're going to typically see shorter amortizations, usually 15 to 25 years max. And a lot of times those rates are fixed on like 5-year increments. So there's a variable component. Of course, with that being said, every deal is different, and we have some deals that borrowers want a shorter amortization with a fixed payment, for instance, like a 10-year, and again, we look at everything case by case and try and make what the borrower's trying to accomplish. That's our goal, is to look at the whole situation. Sometimes we see in the purchase agreements where a realtor or you'll ask in the purchase agreement that we provide a pre-approval letter. And sometimes that pre-approval letter is asked for like within a 72-hour period. That's a little bit challenging sometimes on the commercial side, just because of what goes into that underwriting process. So for Citizens Bank, what I can tell you, what you would see on our end is a lot of times we are able to provide a letter right away that would indicate that the borrower is working with us and has provided us all the financial information that we've asked for, and we can keep you in the loop and absolutely let you know where we are in the process. But there typically won't be a pre-approval letter that states, yep, we're ready to go, and these are the terms. It's a little bit different. Some other items that are a little bit different are appraisals and environmental reports. The appraisals are a little more costly, a little bit more in depth. Our process for that is we actually send the scope of the project out for a bidding process, and we'll get typically 3 to 5 bids back with the cost of the appraisal and the timeline, and those are all presented to the borrower to choose. And the appraisal, there's no set timeline in the lending process of when that appraisal needs to be ordered. We have quite a few folks that want to do that early on, right away, to find out exactly the scope of what they're asking for, or what that value is going to be, so that they can better structure how they want to approach the financing going forward. Environmental reports have changed a little bit too, probably in the last decade. There was a point in time where it was very checklist oriented to find out what's on the property. For a commercial real estate deal, there is a series of environmental reports. Oftentimes, even a phase 1 would be ordered for a purchase transaction. And the environmental doesn't focus, as you probably already know, not just on the property that you're purchasing, but all the surrounding, your neighbors as well, and how that may or may not impact the property. I guess I would just encourage, we love to be a resource, that's what we like to do, and so I would encourage, if you get anybody that's interested in a business property or investing in our community, if you can have conversations with a lender early to kind of talk about what they would like to accomplish or properties that you're looking at, we'd love the opportunity to sit down and kind of talk about the project as a whole and offer any advice if it's helpful, and help both you and your clients. So please feel free to reach out anytime. I think that's it. Thank you.